Hi FIN530ers, I've finally put together the marking guide for Assessment 3 and would just like to talk to you about it. I'll put this up in the folder under Resources so that you can have it to refer to and look at before you submit your assignment. But I'd just like to talk to you this time about what I would like to see in this assessment. Unlike the first assessment where you had to go and source a lot of data and then write a story about current events, this one is more focused on you grasping the theory. Okay, so what I'm looking for in this one, in contrast I guess to the first one, is instead of sourcing and compiling your own data, what I'm looking for is a very firm handle on the underlying theory. So the big effects on exchange rates are interest rates, inflation and economic growth, and I want to see you make the connections between the theory and explain that to me. Okay, so that's your overarching sort of assignment task, I guess. So you can see here I've done a similar thing to assessment 2. This time the criteria obviously are a little different. I've got one which is a discussion of the immediate effect of a tightening of monetary policy on the Australian dollar. Now basically what distinguishes a HD, a D, a credit and a pass is your explanation, your use of examples and graphical analysis to convey to me your understanding of the theory and why it is the theory. Okay, and so I guess it is a subjective assessment between those grades, and I would hope in my feedback, my comments to you, that I would make it clear why it is that grade. Okay, but sometimes very subtle things can separate a distinction from a high distinction, okay, on each of these criteria. So basically a full-blown wonderful answer will correctly identify the effect, obviously, and then go on to tell me why it is the observed effect using some graphical and numerical analysis. Okay, so for example, in terms of inflation and interest rate, there are two theories that govern that, and I would like them explained to me. Okay, and show me why they are the observed effects over the long run using some examples. Okay, so this is almost in direct contrast, I guess, to the first assessment where you were using a lot of current data. This one I'm really trying to focus in on nailing down the theoretical underpinnings of why the Australian dollar moves in response to these. Now, I could have left it, but I am going to be kind and point out in the one on economic growth, okay, so a discussion on the long-term effects on economic growth, you will see here in the high distinction and across them all, the student has correctly identified the effects with an S on the end of it. Okay, there are two. I would like you to explain both of them to me. Okay, so I think that's probably all. And then I do have some 4 marks here on writing style and referencing. Now the referencing one, I just want to see a reference. Okay, any in-text references that you use, please cite them. I want to see a reference list in the end. I want everyone to get a mark here. All right, I've only put a mark on it because it was, in the first one you had to go and source data and choose which data you were going to use and probably explain effects a little more. This one is a little bit, you don't have to go and search the world here. Okay, so your reference list is important as always, but it will not be as extensive as the first one. Okay, so really what I want to see is correct referencing, and I want to give everyone a mark for that. Okay, so my distinctions here are a little hazy because I want to be either putting 1 or 0 on this criteria. Okay, and I hope it's 1. So I think that's about all. If you have any queries, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm happy to provide as much guidance as I can prior to submission, so please be in contact. Okay, I'll talk soon.